want me to know your handwriting better than you? So, check it. I'm starting to kind of color code these things in like the urgency manner. This is really due today. If you did not turn them in yesterday, and I forget if I said it in this class or not, but we just came back from break. Some people were getting their feet back under them. That's like these assignments are really due today. They're going into math. A bunch of you still owe me 4.2.2, so I'm probably going to talk to those people and invite you to math lunch because we either need to turn it in or figure out if your paper is in the no-name land or like we got to somehow get that grade off math. Go ahead, John. Still, Chapter 3 revisions. Most of us have turned in the Chapter 3 revisions. Again, because I forget if I said this yesterday in this class, in your upcoming homeworks, there are a lot of questions that say find the area and perimeter. What tends to happen is kids find one of those things, they get excited they got an answer, and they move on. And I don't think it's on purpose, right? I don't think kids are like, ha, I'm going to skip area and he won't notice, because I'm going to notice. So please, when it says area and perimeter, you can even take like a highlighter and highlight that like, oh, I've got two things to answer. I've tried to structure your homework so that it says area equals, perimeter equals, so like you won't forget to do both of them, but I don't know if I caught every question. If you're behind or if you just want to do math at lunch, I asked Max if I was allowed to talk to him. Max Wright is now one of the students who loves to flex on me that they're all caught up. Be like, hey, Mr. Hudson, all my homework's done. Because I, for a while, was bugging him that his work wasn't done. Now he's coming to math lunch to do his homework and listen to a podcast. He just sits here, puts on headphones, does his math homework, and listens to this podcast he's into. Come to math lunch. We do math. It's great. Sounds awesome, right? The only thing I don't do is eat. You guys eat. I just don't eat, so I'm talking the whole time. Look at 4.2.2. If you 422, maybe 423. I might have typed the wrong number. It's on the back. If you can tell me before I can find it, I don't know, you get a prize. Is it 422 or 423? It is 422. All right, I did type the right thing. So guys, this sort of question is going to be on a mastery. So you don't have to pull this out. If 422 is not out, you don't have to pull it out. Just pay attention to what we're doing up here. Because, guys, remember, when I am grading your homework, I'm just giving you credit for effort, right? The assessments is when we got to get things right. A lot of you got this wrong. I didn't mark it wrong, but a lot of you got this wrong. What we want to do here is recognize that there's an R on top and there's an R on bottom. So actually these things, I could draw a new line right here and make a new cutoff point because I cut the same thing off the top and bottom. They're still equal. And I think some of you missed the fact that the problem told us the top and the bottom are equal to each other. Similarly, this 3, could I take 3 off of 21? Yeah, so if I cut a line right here and take 3 away, there's 18 left over here. So then the 3 R's, what? We want to do 18 divided by 3, which comes out to tell us that R would be a length of 6. A lot of us just went ahead and said R was 3, I think because it looked the same as the 3. It looked to be, don't trust what things look like, right? Looks can be deceiving. On 424, which a lot of you just got back or a lot of you need to turn in today, on the back on 66, the bricks problem. When we have a situation like this, this is a proportion, because how tall would 0 bricks be? 0. And shouldn't every brick be the same height if they're made correctly? So we're comparing bricks and height. It doesn't matter what you put on top or what you put on bottom, but if I compare bricks over height, what they tell us is 6 bricks is 2 feet high. So if I say 6 bricks is 2 feet high, what would this reduce to? 3 over 1. So that means 3 bricks is 1 foot, right? What is our height measured in? You can't see the white, but it's feet, right? Our height is measured in feet. Can't see that very well either. So they're telling us 3 bricks. 3 bricks is 1 foot. So then, to get to 20 feet, we got to turn that denominator into a 20. How do you turn 1 into 20? Times 20. What's 3 times 20? 60. This is where we messed up. Like most of us that messed up was on part B. How high is a stack of 20 bricks? Because that needs to change the numerator into 20, which is not as nice. Right? How do we turn 3 into 20? Times 6.6. At least I think. It's 6 point something. And you got to do that on bottom. So you'll get a not super nice number. You could say about 7 feet. A couple of you said about 7 feet. It comes out to be 6.6 feet. But you could say about 7. Proportions, guys. Set them up. Just do the multiplication. Right? We're always saying, how do I turn this into that? How do I turn this into that? Do the same on top, same on bottom. And I wanted to talk about Grandma and Grandpa, because how many Grandma and Grandpas listen to hard rock music or heavy metal? Guys, probability is something that we're starting to get into. If we look at Maud's chance of a heavy metal album coming on. How many heavy metal albums does she have? 5. How many total albums? So Maud's chance is 5/8. Whereas Claude, gotta love the names. What's his chances? Well, how many heavy metal? 7. How many total? 12. So, can I just say 7's bigger than 5? We got to turn these into decimals or percents, right? To be able to compare them to each other. Or a common denominator. But either way, I got to do something before I can compare. If you stopped right here, you didn't go far enough. We need to at least get to like the decimal of 5/8. I actually know that one. It's 625, just because it's 1/8 bigger than a half. And 7/12, I'm not sure what that one is. It's a little bigger than a half also. But I think Maud has a better chance. Yeah, I think Maud has a better chance. All right, so now we're moving on to what we did yesterday. So let's get out. We're not going to check answers unless people really want to, and we'll do that at the end of class. We stopped here yesterday, right, with 3x squared plus 6x plus 18. I don't know who reset my group, but can you all stand up? You should not be having to turn it all the way around. So everybody get up. We're going to rotate this. So grab your bags. This should actually be. I had students reset my classroom, and I think they got goofed.
Wait, are we doing the Desmos thing that we didn't get to yesterday?
Maybe, but again, it's if we get to it. There we go. Now no one has to turn around backwards. Sorry about that. So, if you want to get out the algebra tiles, you can. But what I need you and your team to do we need graph paper? Do we need graph paper? Yeah, 4-2. Yeah, so guys, 423 or 424. If you have it and you didn't turn it in, turn it in. Bart has made a good reminder to me to give you time to turn it in. So if you did not turn those in, turn those in. All right, we're going to kind of use this as a warm-up. So we're going to use random cards for who can help me to get these on the board. Talk with your team, and I would write these down if I was you. So if I call on you, you're not just surprised. What is the area of each of these? What's the area of B? What's the area of C? Area of B, area of C. Or we can only combine like terms, which we're going to talk about again right after we do this. Like terms.
Oh, I did definitely do some. I wrote down.
Yeah, and it was on the handout that I gave out at the end of class. The like terms was on there.
I just feel like I wasn't gonna get that homework for back on Friday.
What is the area? We're not worried about perimeter, just area. This is 72 if you want a number to put on your screen, or on your paper. This is 72. So remember, area, we don't really care about the perimeter yet. I see some people labeling the perimeter. Let's do one together to remind us. John, you're on top, but then you're done for the, well, not done for the day. But John, what's the area of B?
I did x squared plus x plus 2.
X squared. Now wait, how many x squared?
Or 1.
So if I want to be specific,
Oh, yeah.
1x squared
Plus 1x
plus 1x
plus 2.
plus 2. Because we cannot put the x with the x squared. Guys, I tried to make a little example here to help you guys see this. So,
Whoa.
x. I'm glad I at least got somebody impressed. I had to pull out all my art skills for this. X, yesterday, right? I said I used to have a flexible x. X might be this long. It might get longer. It might get even longer. And if x is in its short version, x squared would only be this big, but it's the square version of the rectangle. But if I make x bigger, then x squared gets bigger. But either way, they're not this, like I can't add them together because one's a square and one's a rectangle. So, it's all recycling anyways. All right, so talk with your team. What's the area of C? You don't get to keep that. I need it for this afternoon. This is not like a show where you get the handouts. I appreciate it, Layla. It was so perfect. My Buckeyes fell down.
Perfect? Is that perfect? Never even noticed that.
I know, right? But now you do.
That is like the best part. Wait, after you run with that lesson, can you rip it apart?
No, I'm probably gonna make posters of it.
You should keep it.
The flexible X I'm definitely keeping. A student had made me one sort of like this. You guys realize we don't, until we know how big X is, it seriously is something that we just seriously don't know how big it is. Marina, what's our area for part C here? 3 X's, boom, 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 plus 3 of the 1 tiles, boom, boom, boom. Any questions? John. Funny you should ask that. So now we're going to start talking about the perimeter of these things. So if you had this nice long, well, what's the area of this? We can go ahead and do that together. What's the area of this shape? 2x plus 1. But what is the perimeter? Talk with your team. What's the perimeter of this shape? You can look at what Liana and what Jonah wrote, but they might not be right. Hey, be nice. Talk with your team. What is it? Lay these out with tiles if you want. Make sure that you count every edge. Go for a walk around this shape. It's not everything. So, do you got tiles? We're going to use this as our place to put tiles. And you have 2 X's on each side, and you have 1. So we're going to walk around this shape. And let's say we start right down here. How far is this edge? So if don't know what it is, this tile like we talked about yesterday, if we don't know what it is, we call it X. Right? So like what you have written down right here on your notes, that's an X tile. So it's X long, and it's one line on the bottom. We can see that because it lines up with a one tile. Well, so this length is X. You're right. We talk about the area. The whole area would be X times 1. Right now we're talking about perimeter. So we go X up this one. Then how long would this be? If this was X, would that be the same? Aren't these tiles the same as each other? Yeah. So if this is X, this is also X. Now we got two X's. Then this edge is going to be 1. That edge is going to be 1. That edge is going to be 1. You don't want to draw this in your notes and even label it as we go. That might help. So if you want to go ahead and maybe grab a new sheet of paper, let's just draw that in our notes real quick. I'm going to draw this because I think we probably all should. So if you didn't draw it yet, go ahead and draw it. Pull out your art skills. You can trace if you really want. This is 73 now, actually. Sorry, I changed my X tiles to blue when I realized what I was doing. When we're working with our X tile, we say that it's one tall. But guys, and somebody asked this, I don't know if it was in this class or the other one. Somebody said one what? We don't know. Until someone tells us, we just call this one to make our life easier. We got to call it something. So this edge is 1. So the first thing I want to make sure that we all label is that that end is 1. The end of the X tile is 1. But then how long is it? Well, even if we don't know exactly how long it is, we call it X long. So that's X long. That's X long. The bottom X long and X long. Please label those. Not yet. Then around this end, what is the length of the edges of our one? Oh, they're ones. So one here, another one there, another one there. How many X's in total? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 that we're going to have to walk around. And then how many total ones when I put them all together? 4. 1 on the end, 3 down here. So our long, what had the area of 2x plus 1? Wait. 4x plus 4, 2x plus... Oh. 0. Brought up a really, really good point yesterday. Where's our labels? Where's our labels? Area is always going to have the label. We wrote this down a couple weeks ago. It was a while ago, though. Units squared. Because it's discussing the space inside of it. Whereas the perimeter, what would its label be? Just units. Not squared. It would just be units. So guys, we can't compare area versus perimeter. It's apples and oranges. We cannot compare. Guys, here's the best analogy that I maybe have. Trying to compare area and perimeter is like comparing an apple to my smoothie. Like, it's not, you can't really, or like, I don't even know, an apple to scissors. Or like, so guys, never try to say one of these is bigger than the other. We do not compare units and unit squared. They're just different. It's like how much string do I need versus how much carpet do I need. Yeah, it's they can't go together. John?
I have off topic, but how are we winning the homework contest?
You were from before break. There was one day that you guys actually 3B had a 35% day. It was really sad. Math 8 had no names that brought them down because they can't remember to write their name on stuff. I forget what your percent was. It wasn't that great, but you still won. It was like 74 or something like that, which is 74 is okay. Make this on your desk, draw it in your notes, figure out the perimeter. Whoa, that's a bad word.
I said to make on your I said to make on your
You can find the area if you want, but I care about us doing the perimeter because that is more difficult. Perimeter tends to make more mistakes. Area, you can see the area, right? You can see it and count it. So we want to make sure that Eve is going to be good moving forward. And remember that the red side is the negatives. So we actually want to work with the color that's not red. You're all good. And right now we're working with the blue ones. So the purples are probably easier to grab. I like purple better. It's actually like my favorite color. But yeah, I'll jump in and make sure. So this is what we want to look at. Because red's like, red's like a danger color. Yeah, so the blue's a lot nicer. So when we think about the edges here, like John was just arguing, like, I want to find area. Well, area, we can see it. There's a square and 3 of these. Perimeter is more difficult. So we got to take a walk around the whole thing. So I would draw this on your paper, and then we'll label it. Because it's kind of hard to just look at this. So go ahead and draw. Like, it doesn't have to be beautiful. I'm definitely not an artist. My sister's an artist. She stole all of it.
Stole what?
The art skill. She's older than me. She took it all. Yeah, those edges are ones.
We're able to find the area after you do
Yeah, I don't care if you do area. Gotta finish my smoothie. The parts that goof people up, and 2 people have already asked me about. The ends of your X tiles are 1 always. The end of it, the butt, whatever you want to call it, the end of it is 1. So up here is 1. Hold up, John. Up here is 1. Now around this corner, I'm going to kind of shrink down my pen. I got 1 here. I got 1 here. And I have 1 there. So there's actually 3 down in this corner. Guys, copy this on your paper. Make sure you've labeled all the little pieces. And then we can go around and label all the other parts. But John, what's your question?
If, like, say that you see the X thing.
Yeah.
If you put a block, like, thing, it's for, it was for C on 76.
Okay.
Like, I can't explain it. Can I?
No, because you're ahead of us. Your thinking is 2 problems from now. You good to be patient? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. How long is the edge of the X squared tile? It's up here, guys. These are like cheat sheets for you. How long is this edge? It's X. How long is that edge? It's X. How long is this edge? X. How long is that edge? X. Yeah, Yeah, so how many x's in total? Because we like to talk in x's first. 4 x's and 6. Label. If we don't know what the unit is, we just write units. Because we're talking about perimeter. Units, not units squared. Questions? I seriously, imagine myself starting at a corner and taking a walk, right? Label all your sides, then go back and pick them all up. Ooh, you might actually be in the next lesson, Joan. Yeah. So our next, 12 to 13 minutes is for you guys to do homework together. Then do the next one, or help people. Walk her up. Well, so what John just said was, hey, people, if you need help, come visit me, and I know what I'm doing. Maybe. Well, is it done right? Nah, John normally knows what he's doing. Was anyone absent yesterday? Didn't get any of the worksheets? Everyone has 4, 3, 2. I know what you're going to ask, and it's in 4, 3, 2, and that's probably why you're asking that. Finding the perimeter when there's a 1 tile on the side of the X tile. Not if we're taking a walk. That's why that one was an area problem. I kind of don't want to talk about that yet because it's overly complicated compared to what we did today. Hey, I'll put this up here if we want to do some stuff together. I'd love for Eve to get back here first. There we go. We're about to do homework. Oh, this might be I'm silly. If it says sketch the shape, and I already put it on your thing, you don't have to sketch it. If I already put it there. What I'm going to look for is your paper to look like this when you find perimeter. To find perimeter here, if you haven't done 75, you get RC?
Yeah.
You need to make another big X.
Yep. And then 1. Because those are all these.
Make another big X. Yo.
I don't have the point 3.2.
Ah, you must have snuck away when I was passing it out the other day. Remember, guys, 432 has some notes on it that you can read. Some of us are better when we read stuff. to be productive with my time. I need to see real quickly. Question is, where did I set my notepad with the names written down? Let me find my notepad and then I'll figure out who I need to see. Vincent, Mia, Lucas, and Kylie. Come out in the hallway with me super fast, please. Vincent, Mia, Lucas, and Kylie.
What did it look like?
It was the one with the R's on the back. It has the grass on the front. Sweet, thank you very much. Yes. Let's do it together. Up on the board. Alright, we got a request. Love request, just like DJ Hudcap. So Sammy, sorry I printed this and then I realized I had a typo. On your paper this says 3.6. But look at 79. Look at 79 with me if you haven't done it. What I would highlight here, or underline if I was you, because I know some of you guys don't keep highlighters quickly accessible. Miles per hour, and it's not telling me, it's asking me. So since it's asking me, I got to do the math, and it tells me to do miles divided by hours. So when I set this up, we're going to do miles divided by hours, and I like fractions, so I like setting up my division like a fraction. You could also write it out, miles divided by hours. That's fine. I just like the fraction form better. It makes more sense with proportions and a lot of math. So if I was you, I'd get in the habit of fractions. So how many miles did she go? 3.6. How many they want hours, but they gave us minutes? No, because that's not accurate, right? John says it's close to a half. But guys, how could I represent 33 minutes in its portion of the hour? How many minutes does an hour normally have? 60. So of the hour, what we could write, and this actually now will look weird in fraction form, is 33 minutes out of 60. So I'm actually going to come over here to the horizontal way to write it. You guys, you could do it either way. But if I do 3.6 divided by 33 minutes out of 60 minutes, because that's how much of the hour it is, what do we do when we divide by a fraction? Keep, change, flip, or grab your calculator. That's another option, right? So if we just want to go ahead and do exactly what we're trying to do, 3.6 divided by, guys, parentheses are vital here. You will get the wrong answer if you don't have parentheses used correctly. So 3.6 is my miles. My now I could have actually started by figuring out the amount of hours by doing 33 divided by 60. And like John said, it's just over a half. And then we could just do 3.6 divided by 0.55. It gets us that same answer that we got the other way. I could also write this out as 3.6 divided by 0.55, because that's how much of the hour it was. Just over half. But our speed, like what Mr. Smith would be asking you, like, oh, what speed you run? About 6.5 miles an hour. 6.5 miles an hour. Questions still? So I'll go 2 decimal places and round 6.55 mph. Other requests? We still got like 5 minutes. So here, to do a fourth, and we did this one all together actually. To do a fourth, you're going to either want to multiply by 1/4. So not multiply by 4, but multiply by 1/4. 1/4, right? 1 over 4. Or just divide it by 4. Right? That's another way. So if my paycheck was $84, and I'm going to give a fourth of it away for taxes, I divide it by 4 and say, okay, you get $21 taxes, and I get what's left. Does that make sense?
Yeah. We worked on this yesterday together.
Interesting that you don't have a check. So map has been weird. Like if I update map right now, it will not stick, even though it looks like I'm still logged in. And map yesterday was being super funky. So that's why I just did what I just did, so we could figure out whose grades are wrong and what needs changed in map. No, hang on just a second. Just let me change it right now. That's not what I want. I want that. 4.2.2. Huh. Okay, so I changed it in map, but never changed it in my grade book. So you're good. My grade book just needs change. Thank you, Mia. Pro tip on 78. Pro tip for 78. This will be a lot easier. Well, I don't know. It depends if you know the trapezoid formula. If you go search for the trapezoid formula, there... Okay, thanks, Vanessa. It's right there. Jeez, Mr. Hudson. So, the trapezoid area formula is base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times the height. Wait, what? Huh? And if you don't know what that means, guys, just break up your shape. Breaking up is hard to do. So, it's a square, and then, well, if this is 10, what is this? 6, and this is also 10. So remember, to do the triangle area, we would do 6 times 10, What do we do after we do 6 times 10? Divide by 2, right? Because the triangle is only half of what it would be as a rectangle. So 6 times 10, then we could divide by 2. Especially because I kept you a little late yesterday, let's go ahead and start packing up to get you to language arts on time. If you have algebra tiles, please make their way back up to their home. Well, the box is their home. Just like the cup is the ball's home. Or the, yeah. Get in your home, ball. What? It's from a movie called Happy Gilmore where he turns into a pro golfer and he's really mad at the ball because it's like 2 inches away from the cup. He says, get in the... Wait, does he call it a cup or the hole? I think he just says home. Spot on, you want to go home, ball? Go to your home. And then he, crap, who's he fight? Bob Barker. That is such a fun